What do men know? Because they have seen no unicorns for a while does not mean that we have all vanished. We do not vanish.
Jesus Christ! Did you see that unicorn? Its horn was so shiny.
You see that unicorn? He's so fluffy I'm gonna die!
Welcome back, Mythheads. Few mythological creatures have captured the imaginations of people as much as unicorns. In the world of myths, there's dragons and centaurs, elves and giants, trolls and fairies. But no creature seems to be as magical as the unicorn. Yet it's a very simple creature, a magical horse with a single large spiraling horn atop its head. The unicorn appears in the tales and legends of numerous cultures, but the creature described in old folklore doesn't really resemble what we think of as a unicorn today.
This is where your ice cream comes from. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn.
What?
During the Indus Valley civilization, dating around 3000 BC, the unicorn was allegedly depicted in ancient seals. However, some believe these images may have simply been a profile shot of a bull. Several centuries later, Greeks wrote about the unicorn. The Greeks believed the unicorn to be an actual creature rather than just a myth, but it was likely another case of mistaken identity. The Greeks believed unicorns existed in India, the earliest description of which comes from Greek physician Ctesias in his book Indica, where he describes them as wild donkeys with a single long horn colored red, white, and black. Pliny the Elder, a Roman historian, described the unicorn as a very fierce animal called the monoceros, which has the head of the stag, the feet of the elephant, the tail of the boar, while the rest of the body is like that of a horse. It makes a deep lowing noise and has a single black horn which projects from the middle of its forehead. Most research on the topic shows that people of the time were mistaking the mythological unicorn for the rhinoceros, or the oryx. Many of the descriptions in these early writings came from second-hand sources and weren't very accurate. For example, this is what people of the time thought the rhino might look like. The explorer Marco Polo also wrote about the unicorn in his travel logs. Scarcely smaller than elephants, they have the hair of a buffalo and feet like an elephant's. They have a single large black horn in the middle of the forehead. They have a head like a wild boar's. Again, that sounds more like a rhino than what we think of as a unicorn today.
Look at that fluffy unicorn! He's so fluffy I'm gonna die!
In the Bible, a creature called a Riem appears, but this adds to the confusion because of translation issues. In some versions of the Bible, the word Riem means unicorn, while in other translations it can mean rhino or wild ox. Seems like the entire existence of the unicorn is a mistaken identity. Throughout the years, people have also mistaken the tusk of the narwhal for the horn of the magical unicorn. Its myth was further perpetuated when these horn-like objects began appearing in ancient European markets. People of the time also believed the horn had magical powers that healed sickness and turned poisoned water drinkable, making those narwhal tusks quite a pricey commodity. During the Middle Ages, the unicorn was thought of as an extremely wild woodland creature, so pure that it could only be tamed by a virgin. Centuries earlier, Pliny the Elder had also written that it is impossible to capture one alive. The whole tamed by a virgin thing came about from a 7th century scholar named Isidore of Seville, who wrote that the unicorn is too strong to be caught by hunters, except by a trick. If a virgin girl is placed in front of the unicorn, and she bares her breast to it, all of its fierceness will cease, and it will lay its head on her bosom. Sounds like he had the imagination of a 3rd grader.
The unicorn, the creature is so powerful, its only weakness is boobies.
Isidore also wrote that the unicorn is very strong and pierces anything it attacks. It fights with elephants and kills them by wounding them in the belly. Throughout the ages, the myth of the unicorn evolved, from a hulking monster to a magical horsie. By the way, the footage seen here comes from the 1985 film Legend, directed by Ridley Scott. A dark fantasy film starring Mia Sara and Tom Cruise, it is about the devil's attempts to kill a unicorn, allowing him to establish eternal night. The devil here is depicted by Tim Curry in a crazy awesome performance.
The dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity. Dreams are my speciality.
On one condition.
Anything.
I want to kill the unicorn.
In the film, unicorns are the guardians of the light, a symbol of all that is good and pure, which is more in line with the modern unicorn. Those early descriptions and folklore of the mythological unicorn are a far cry from the unicorn of today, flying through rainbows and serving as a magical symbol of love and happiness. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We could always use more love and happiness in the world. If you like what you see, click those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for your support.